Equivalent fractions and comparing fractions. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad. Let's do it. We're going to start with compare fractions with fraction models. So I hope this makes sense. I've been talking about this a lot, so hopefully this problem shouldn't be too terribly difficult. If you think about the denominator as on an object, okay? Think of the denominator as an object. Think of a fourth like a block or a pencil or whatever, okay? If I have 6 fourths and you have 4 fourths, which one of us has more fourths? Because they're both fourths, we can compare them directly. I can say, I've got 6, you've got 4, I've got more than you. Now, 4/6 on the other hand, now we're comparing denominators. Yeah? Now we've got one rectangle that's cut into 6 pieces, and we're going to shade. In fact, let's go ahead and actually do this. We're going to shade 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. All right? We shade 4 out of the 6. And then in the bottom row, we're going to shade 4 out of the 4. So we're going to shade all 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to understand why it is that 4 fourths is bigger than 4/6. It's not because there's more pieces, right? They both have 4 pieces. But when your pieces are fourths, each piece is proportionally larger, right? And again, we're assuming, and you can see right here, that these two rectangles start at the same size, right? Again, 4/6 of a very large rectangle might be bigger than 4 out of 4 of a much smaller rectangle. That's fine. But when you're talking about each rectangle being the same size, of course, 4/6 is going to be less than 4/4. So those are the two ways that you can compare fractions. If they have the same numerator or the same denominator, you should be able to figure out which one is bigger or smaller pretty quickly. Same deal. 9/8 is just greater than 5/8. I would rather have 9 pieces of pizza than 8. You know, if each one is cut into than 5 if each one is cut into 8 pieces. 3/4 is less than 3/3, and in fact, we know this also because we know that 3/3 is 1, right? And we know that any number that has a bigger denominator than numerator is less than 1. Hopefully pretty obvious. 4/6 is bigger than 3/6. Again, 4/3 is 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1 and 1/3, right? It's 1 whole and 1 more third. We'll talk about mixed numbers later on. 4/8 is only 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only half of one of these. 4/3 is way bigger. And 1/2 is less than 2/2 because 1 is less than 2. That's kindergarten stuff. So now we're going to compare fractions on the number line. Plot 3/4. Well, if each one is a fourth, 1, 2, 3/4. 2/4. So we now know, visually, by looking at it, we now know that 3/4 is bigger than 2/4. Why? Because it's further along the number line. Just in case the whole idea of, just in case the whole thing I have been talking about so far hasn't sunk in yet. I like that just because I have given extensive explanations at this point doesn't necessarily mean my explanations are perfect. So I like that we're now going into number lines and we're just making sure everybody is on the same page. 2/2, 2/3. And again, because both of these are 1, right? 2/2 is 1, 3/3 is 1. So because we're dealing with two objects, two numbers that are the same, being cut into a different number of pieces, 2 over 2 is very clearly greater than 2 over 3. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sixths. Here's 1, 2, 3 sixths. 5 is clearly larger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we have the same number of pieces, but because sixths are smaller than fourths proportionally, 4 sixths is indeed less than 4 fourths. Moving on once again. On fire today.